A sneaky way that we keep ourselves in stress addiction is through negative thought patterns, mentally beating ourselves up, shaming ourselves, judging ourselves, all of that nonsense. So firstly, let's talk about the power of our words. So our words are incredibly powerful. We have 1,500 words per minute that pass through our head, that pass through our mind. So we have more words than breath per minute that come in. You breathe 12, maybe 18 times a minute, but you have 1,500 words per minute. And most people are just not at all conscious. They're not intentional or even sometimes aware of the thoughts that they're having. They just allow these thoughts to take over and send them into spirals. Now, 80% of our thoughts, if we do nothing, if we do no inner work on ourselves, then 80% of our thoughts every single day are negative. Now, the personal development self-help industry says, well, change your thoughts, change your life. And they're not wrong, but if it was as easy as just changing your thoughts, then everybody would do it and nobody would need any support, right? Everybody would be absolutely thriving in life. Chronic health issues would disappear. Mental health issues would disappear. Addictions would disappear, because all of those things are a result of negative thought patterns. You can literally make yourself sick with negative thought patterns, and people don't realize this. So every single time you have a thought, your body releases a hormone, which is a chemical that travels through your body in the blood. Now, where does your blood go in the body? Literally everywhere. So every single time you have a thought, you bathe every cell in your entire body in that thought. And so you are either bathing your cells, thousands, millions of times a day in negativity, which creates a toxic environment, or you can bathe every single cell in your body in love. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to develop this toxic positivity, right? Where you're like, everything's fine. I'm totally fine. I'm all right. Everything's okay. That doesn't work, because all you're doing is suppressing. What we want to do instead is, when we have a negative thought, to take a moment and realize, oh, I'm beating myself up right now. I'm judging myself for not getting this thing right, or for making this mistake, or for failing. But how do I know that this thought is right? And this is a process called metacognition. So we have to start thinking about our thinking first. It's not, oh, I just had a negative thought. I can't have that. I have to, no, everything's fine. I'm totally fine, right? That doesn't help. But it's starting to become aware of the thought patterns of, okay, I just had that thought. Does that actually serve me? Is there any truth to that thought? Like, how do I know that this thought is even true that I'm thinking? Or is it something that I've been told so many times, or that I created this belief because of how other people treated me, and I've told myself it so many times that I've started believing it, but I've never actually stopped to ask myself, is this actually true? Okay? Because every time you have that negative thought, like I said, you're either bathing your cells in your body in negativity, or you're bathing them in love and compassion. One of those makes you sick, and one of those heals you. People like to talk about the placebo effect, right? How people will have these spontaneous healings, or, their situation will get better because they think that they're taking the medication. And people are like, oh, it's all in their head. They probably weren't that sick to begin with. But there's actually documented studies that show the power of the placebo effect. And the placebo effect really just tells us how powerful our thoughts are. There was one study done where they took osteoarthritis patients, so people who had osteoarthritis in their knees. They had had some sort of knee reconstruction or something like that, and they told them that they had to get a scope. So they had to go in with a scope, and they had to clean out any excess cartilage or any junk that was in there that was creating the pain in the knee. And so what they did was they separated people into two groups. And this was a double blind, meaning that the surgeons had no idea, the surgeons didn't tell the people looking over the research which patient was which. So what they did was a third of the patients didn't get anything. They were the control group. A third of the patients got the actual scope. And the other third of the patients got the scars, but no scope. So they made it look like they made the incision in the knee as though they went in and did the scope, but they didn't actually do anything. And when they compared them 30 days post-op, the two groups that had either the scars or had the actual procedure had the exact same improvement in their pain, in their mobility, in their strength as each other. The control group obviously had no change, but the two groups, the one that actually got the scope and the one that got the scars but no scope, they had the exact same amount of change. So that's the power of our thoughts and believing that we can heal. Now, there was another guy, and the opposite of the placebo effect, which nobody ever talks about, is called the nocebo effect. And there was this guy who had such negative thoughts that he literally put his body into sepsis, like toxic shock. He put his body into toxic shock by thinking these negative thoughts so often he wound up in the hospital. So we can start to choose. Are we going to bathe ourselves with what's going to make us sick? What is going to hold us back? Or will we bathe ourselves in love and compassion and use that power to start healing ourselves? The choice is yours. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Cycle Breakers. This channel is dedicated to giving you the tools that you need to clear out the blocks holding you back so you can live the life that you desire. Now, before you go, as our special gift to you, we have our 7-day nervous system reset. These are the exact exercises that I give all of our clients in every single one of our programs to help them regulate their nervous system, to make that inner work and clearing out those mental blocks so much easier. The best part, it's absolutely free. Just click on the link in the description below and you'll get instant access.